be sharing with you in this video how to build powerful connections to actually level up in your life, to really truly become the person that you really want to be, where you can actually progress and improve behaviorally. So you can see improvements in your life, actual improvements based on the results that you're getting and the behaviors that you're doing in your life, how you're acting. So if you can measure these results in a certain way, I'm going to share with you how to do this and do it with people that you're building powerful connections with, where you can feel connected and empowered together with other people as well. So the first thing that I want to share with you in this video to actually do this is to have explicit communication, to have clear, explicit communication. Now, I want to make something clear. Regardless of if we're talking about a business connection or a friendship of some kind or any kind of relationship, explicit communication is going to be very, very important. Because here's the truth is that, when you're walking through life, everybody has an intention. Everybody has a desire. If you're in the human existence, what I've come to realize and what I've become aware of and what I've learned from a very powerful mentor is to understand that we're going to have filters. What is even a filter? It's that you see life in your own unique way. And another truth on top of that is that I feel that truly, and I don't think this is a feeling, I do believe that this is a foundational truth to just how the world works almost. And I don't want to sound too arrogant or too prideful when I say this, but the truth is that I believe we have intentions no matter what. We have desires no matter what. We cannot run away from the fact that we have filters and intentions and desires, and because of these desires being in place, we have to see life through some sort of filter so that these desires can come to be in life, so that they can actually happen. So instead of feeling guilty about this or shameful about this or resisting this or seeing it as a bad thing that shouldn't exist when it does, I think that a very powerful way to overcome this entire obstacle is just to have explicit communication. Just be clear on what your intentions actually are. What do you really care about with this person? If it's a business connection, do you want to close a business deal with this person? If you want to close a business deal with this person, I would invite and encourage you to be very honest about that. Don't lie about that. Be very honest and just say, hey, you know what? I want to do business with you. I want to work with you. This is what I want to do with you. And then be honest about that. And then, I think the most powerful thing about this whole situation is that when you're just completely honest and you put it all on the table and you have nothing to hide, the person can either accept your offer or they can refuse. Now, if they accept your offer, then you get what you wanted, and you can offer them, how can I help you to get you what you want as well? Because it's not just about you. Excuse me. It's not just about you. It's about you and the other person together. This is what I think is powerful to consider. I think it's important to consider that it's not just about you in any connection. We need to be very clear on this as we go through our life. It's not just you, and it's like me. What are my desires? What do I want? What do I care about? It's not just about you. The world doesn't revolve just around you. I'm sorry to tell you, but the world doesn't revolve just around your life. I'm sorry to tell you, I know a lot of people will boost your ego and boost your pride when you watch on YouTube, and they'll say, you're the best, and the world revolves around you, and all these types of affirmations. But the truth is that the world doesn't revolve around you. You live in a society, you live with a structure and rules, and you're confined, and you can't just be any type of way. You have to be confined to these structures and these boundaries and these rules, and you have to act respectfully. It's not just about you. You need to act with respect. You need to act with excellence. And if you want to act, if you don't want to act with discipline and excellence and commitment and devotion and being fully committed to creating the best life that you want to create, that's fine. You don't need to do any of that if you don't want to, although I would invite and encourage you. But first and foremost, you're going to have to start with respect. Respect is going to be something that you need to walk through with in your life, and you're going to need to have respect in your life. If you don't have respect, if you're just going to walk through life and not be respectful, you're not even going to be able to understand the value of explicit communication, because explicit communication is something that is just basic ground level, like just level zero stuff. This is stuff we have to get out of the way if you want to build a powerful connection. If you're not willing to be explicit about what you want with the person, what you're doing is you're dishonoring yourself. Now, if they're not explicit about what they want, they're possibly dishonoring themselves in a certain way as well. So the key is to get both individuals on the same page about explicitly communicating what they actually desire from each other in that interaction. And that sounds very logical to say it like this, but when it comes to being logical and getting results, it's about you understanding, what do you want? What does that person want? Come together, right? See if you guys can come to an agreement in terms of, can you help each other? Are you a good fit for each other? Like, for example, in business, it's like, can we come together? Can we make more money together? Are we a good fit for each other? Or can I help you to make more money in some area? Can we close a business deal? Like, what can we do? Or do you want to work with me? Like, what's the business? Like, what's the interaction? What do you want from me? And what do I want from you? Let's figure it out. Let's see if we're a good fit. And if it's a friendship, and you can think about it the same way. What do you want from each other? Let's put it all on the table, be honest about that, and then from there, that's really how you build a real connection with somebody. That's a real connection. Now, the key to remember here is that when you have explicit communication, you're both aware of what you want. You're both aware of what you want. It's not just like, oh, that's disgusting. Like, this person wants something, and like they don't care about what I want. It's not like that. It's like, I want something, you want something. Let's see if we can provide that for each other. Let's see if we can give that to each other. And then from there, this is how we build a real powerful connection with an individual. That's a real connection. And there's so many fears that come up. It's like, well, what if it doesn't work out? And like, what if this person leaves, right? Or like, what if they say no? It's like all these things, right? When you're scared to use your voice to ask for what you want, what happens is that you get stuck in an overthinking pattern. But that's a serious problem, because I believe that if we're going to walk through life, we should be able to be comfortable to use our voice to communicate, to ask for our wants. Ask for our wants. Ask for what we want in our life. To use our voice to communicate our desires in our life, what we truly want. Because our voice is one of the most powerful tools that you have in your life. Most people don't know how to use it. They've never been taught how to communicate and to use their voice in a connection or in any kind of relationship in their life. Using your voice is very powerful. And you might be thinking again, well, what if it doesn't work out? Well, I want to share with you the second point in this video, which is just to remember that, it's okay if it doesn't work out. It's absolutely fine. Because if it doesn't work out, if you explicitly communicate what you want, and they might even say like, oh, like so you just want what you want, that's disgusting. You could say, look, no, it's not just about what I want. I want to be here to give you what you want as well. Because, I don't know about you, but for me, I'm an all or nothing person. I like to give 100% of everything that I have to everything in my life. Every interaction, every connection, I give 100%. But all I ask from other people is that they give me 100% back as well. And then if it doesn't work out in any kind, let's say it's in a work connection and somebody can't give 100% at that work job, maybe it's okay if it doesn't work out. Maybe they shouldn't work there. And it's tough to see it like that. And it's like, it's really tough to look at individuals like this. But it's like, the truth is that, it's best for both of you if something doesn't work out in your life. That's completely fine. I want you to be comfortable with the idea that if something doesn't work out in your life, it's completely okay. It's completely fine. Because the truth is that, if you put everything on the table and the two individuals simply cannot provide for each other what they desire in that interaction, then it's best that they go find it from somebody else. That they go find another person that is more fit at that time to be in that type of interaction. And it's not about like really overthinking it or making it seem like, a person is replaceable. That's not what it's about. It's just about true communication, putting it on the table and just seeing, like, can two individuals come together to level up in their life, to create something in their life, to really improve. And if they can't, then that's okay. There shouldn't be any resentment or negativity or, attachment, because, all attachment does lead to suffering at the end. It really does, right? If you're attached to something, it's going to lead to suffering at the end. So I might encourage you in any interaction in your life, although it might be tough to do this, there's this ego structure, right, that loves to attach to the interaction, to attach to the connection. And when you attach to something, it's going to ultimately create suffering, and it's not going to allow the space and growth for both individuals to be the best people that they can be. Because if they're simply not resonating with the interaction, with the frequency that they're both on, then it's okay to part ways. It doesn't have to be forever, but in that moment, if the frequencies are if you want to say it like that, or the energy, or simply if you want to say it in a more logical way, if you don't like that communication style, if both people cannot provide value to each other to help them become better people, to level up in their life, to improve their skill sets, to become smarter in some type of way, to become more intelligent, to just feel more happy and peaceful, and to have happiness and peace in their life. If there's no happiness and peace in that interaction, then it's okay to let it go. It's okay to just move on from that situation in that moment. Everything is a moment to moment thing, right? It's completely fine. Because this is how you build powerful connections, is that you don't attach to things not working out, because you create space for something better that can work out, where you can actually have what you want. And then you can have an interaction where what you want, that person actually desires as well. Just as much as you want to close a business deal with an individual, that person wants you to close them. They want you to close them because they want the value that you're providing to them, that you're going to give them when you have that business deal. Because it's not about it's like they give you the money when you close the business deal, right? But you're going to be providing value in return. And they want you to provide that value. So let me give you another example. Just as much as somebody wants to be a famous podcaster and reach millions of people want to listen to a podcast. Does that make sense? So, just as much as somebody wants to be a restaurant owner, and open up 10 restaurants and be the best restaurant in that town, in that entire business, right? In that whole field, or whatever the case might be, there's also going to be many people that want to go eat at those restaurants and have a good time and buy the drinks and eat the food and invite their families and then tell everybody about it. They want to do it because they had so much joy and peace at that restaurant. They want to eat out. They just want to go share and tell everybody else too. They want to do that. They say, hey, you hear this place? It's amazing. It was so good. I loved it. I want to tell you about it as well. They want to share that. And that helps you become a better business owner and make more money. And that helps them to improve their life and have an experience at a restaurant that they wanted as well. And you created this space for that. So, just as selfish as you thought you thought like, oh, maybe you have this block on creating a restaurant, and it's like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be so selfish and open this. But it's like, maybe you being selfish and opening that restaurant is the most selfless thing that you can do for humanity, and open up something where other people are going to actually enjoy. And let's say you need a business partner to create that. There's going to be somebody that wants to do that with you, that wants to create that with you, just as much as you see this vision. And maybe you're looking for a person to support you in that vision, and you see one person and they kind of really want to do it, and they kind of see the vision, but they're not really in 100%. You know what I mean? It's like they're not really there, and it's like they don't really support the vision 100%. And it's like, you know what? There's somebody that does support the vision, that does see it the same way you see it, and they want to be there for you, and they want to help you to open up that restaurant. They want to help you to open up that restaurant and to see that thing be created in your life. They want to see that happen. They want to see all of this happen in their life. So I think that the key is to remember that, we need to remove all attachment to results, all attachment to intentions being created, and just say that, know what you want in your life, have own your desires. Don't feel guilty or shameful around wanting stuff, but then be okay with it not working out, because that's not what life is about, is controlling the outside world. Definitely not controlling people. You can want what you want, you can have a desire, you can ask, you can use your voice to ask for a business deal, to ask for a friend to be in a certain way. You can ask for whatever you want in your life, but now you can't control anything past that. You can control what you can control, but then you can let go of what you can't control. And then now that's why explicit communication is so clear, because there's so many things in our life that we can't control, but using our voice and explicit communication is definitely not one of them. You can definitely control that. You can take responsibility over your voice and your communications skill set and improving that. So the key is to remember that if it doesn't work out, that's fine, but still take control over explicit communication and being able to ask for what it is that you desire in that interaction. And then so this is a very sort of all or nothing or magnetic type of, I don't want to say magnetic, but it's a very either that when I say magnetic, it either connects or it repels, right? And I think that this is very powerful because either you're gonna build a powerful connection with somebody that really really works out and it really feels like you're connected, or it's just not going to work out. And like I said, the second one might feel negative, but that's fine, because remember, technically speaking, if it's not going to work out, then what is really the point anyway? You're not losing and you're not helping each other. There's no benefit, there's no honest exchange. I think everything in life is a give and take. I think everything in life is an honest exchange of give and take, of giving and receiving. As you're receiving, you're giving, and as you're receiving, you're giving. Everything, whoever you surround yourself with, you will become like that person in your life. You're giving them a little bit of your energy, they're giving you a little bit of their energy. And if you guys are in the same field of consciousness, you're exchanging knowledge, you're exchanging values, you're exchanging perspectives, and just being in that field of consciousness, you're quite literally taking on all of their beliefs, all of their perspectives. You're taking, whatever a person believes, if you spend time with them, you will believe what they believe. You will start to think like them. So if you were trying to create a belief system, you're trying to create a structure and a discipline in your life, and a person doesn't align with that, and they have something that they want to create and you don't align with that, then it's completely fine if it doesn't work out. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. That's for the better. That's for the greater good, because you're both going to level up better somewhere else, where you're more wanted and more desired at a different place. Could be with a different person. It's not necessarily with another person, but maybe we need to be alone. We need to come back and just be okay with not attaching to a specific result, but being okay with wanting what we want as well. Not being attached or guilty or shameful about wanting what we want, but at the same time, only controlling what we can control, and not letting our ego and pride get in the way of controlling things that we have no business or power to control, even if we wanted to. And then so the final thing that I want to share with you in this video is just remember that really honesty is the best policy. This is going back to explicit communication, because the key is that you may as well just be completely honest about what you actually want in your life. Maybe most people don't even know what they want, and then so this becomes a problem, because it's well, I don't even know what I want. How do I ask for it? Maybe you should take a step back and figure out what your values are. Figure out what you want in any kind of connection. Decide on what you're looking for in any kind of connection. Because if we can simply start to decide what we're looking for in any kind of connection, we can be honest about this, and then now that's the place where we can start to attract people and individuals that are also honest about what they want. And then that's really, instead of making guessing or assuming, we can communicate. And then so I think honesty is powerful because it helps people align with what they want from each other. Because the truth is that everybody wants something, everybody has a desire, everybody has some stuff that they desire and want, and I think that in a lot of connections, what happens is that we pretend that we don't want things. We pretend that we don't have desires. We pretend that there's not something, and what happens is that we're dishonest. we start lying. And lying, I think, is so, it's not a good thing to say the least in any kind of connection, but this is what happens in relationships. People can be married for 20 years, 30 plus years, and what happens is that they're lying to each other and it's not even a real connection. I think that's unacceptable. I think that if people want to be the best person, if they want to build powerful connections that they can really level up with in their life and actually level up, we need to be honest about our values. What do we really care about? Are these values going to be aligned with two individuals? Like, what are their values? What are your values? Let's be honest about that. Let's put it all on the table. Let's be aware of what we care about so that we can see if there's going to be a support system for each other there and that we can actually be improving each other's life. Honesty is so powerful. And I'm not saying that you need to open yourself up completely because, some things are just not meant to be shared with other people. Boundaries are important, It shouldn't just be that you walk around and that you start telling everybody everything about every part of your life and that you explain everything and open up all areas. That shouldn't be the case. I think that there's room to have boundaries and to not overshare, not over communicate. That's one of my biggest sticky points for me personally is over communication. But I think that if we can take a step back and remember that all we have to do is just be honest, right? And be upfront, that can eliminate a lot of the over communication as well. It can just completely bring it out of the picture because when you put it all on the table, there's less room for this sort of, how do I explain it? Overcompensating energy, over communication. What is even over communication? It comes from overcompensating. But if you're upfront about what you want from the beginning, then there's no need to overcompensate. There's no need to overgive or to feel uncomfortable like you're not doing what you really want. Nobody should feel in life that they're forced to do something, that they have to do something. Nobody likes to be controlled in their life. If you look at any interaction, any problem that has ever occurred or conflict, it's where somebody felt like they were inflicted or a boundary was overstepped and that they're feeling like they're being controlled. That's really where a lot of friction happens in a connection. And I think that goes back to not respecting the situation and respecting the person and respecting the situation that's at hand. Excuse me to repeat myself. So the key is to be upfront, to be honest, to have explicit communication. Don't let people assume what you want. There's no need to make them assume. Just let them know. Let them know, here's what I want from you. And I'm not saying that you have to rush this process or do it in like one day or something. But the key is that we can build powerful connections when we honor our voice. I think that our voice is one of the most powerful tools that we have that we don't realize is our voice can create worlds. We can change worlds. We can impact, the whole world can move. Mountains can move with your voice if you use your voice properly. And if you use your voice properly, you can bring millions of people together to work together and to work on a vision and to create something. That's powerful stuff. One person's voice can impact millions of people to be different, to act different, to resonate with a different energy in their life, to actually behaviorally change. So I want to avoid sometimes words like energy and stuff because it's no, I'm talking about results. They can be impacted and change and get better results in their life simply because of somebody using their voice. There can be the difference between somebody getting what they want and not getting what they want is one person was more bold and willing to ask for what they wanted in that connection. This is how it is in business, is that most people are afraid to ask for what they want in their life business-wise, how much money they want. Are you afraid to ask your employer how much money you want to make? Are you afraid to go be something and to commit to creating something in your life and to go embody that identity and to not stop until you create it? Is there some kind of whatever you want in your life, it's important just to be honest about that. And I'm not saying to overstep any boundaries or to be rude or to dishonor anybody or to again rush the process or to not honor the process, but I'm just saying that to some degree, don't be afraid to be bold sometimes. When the moment is right, when you feel like it's time, when you feel like it's time for you to step up and to be a little bit more fearless and relentless, be willing to ask for the desire. Be willing to ask for what you care about in your life. This is how we improve This is how we level up, is we own our desires. We drop the guilt, we drop the shame. No more feeling guilty, no more feeling shameful around wanting stuff. Let's just get that out of the way right now, because if you want something, it's okay to want that. Give yourself permission to have a desire and to want stuff in your life. Give yourself permission to be selfish enough to the point where it's okay for you to want stuff. Because the moment that you fully own what you want, that's when you can provide true value to the world and truly give something of value to other people. Because it's not just about people pleasing. Yes, it is about people pleasing to a certain degree in the sense that you're giving them what they want. But you need to be able to provide value and convince people that you are valuable and actually go get value and create it in your life. What is value? Value is solving problems. You need to go solve a problem in your life and then let other people know how you did that and then share that with them. That's really what value is. It's solving problems. It's making things easier, more comfortable, less stressful. You take something that's stressful and you take it into a situation where it's less stressful and you break it down. You make something very complicated and you make it very simple. Or you create a new idea that just makes people's lives easier, right? These are the things that can only happen when you're a little bit more selfish. And when I say selfish, I mean just no more guilt or feeling bad about wanting stuff. Feeling bad about wanting stuff, I think is something that we need to get over. We need to get over this completely. We need to let go of this, because when we're attached, that's a lower level emotion that's not conducive to taking action oriented. If you want to be results oriented, and not so results oriented that your peace depends on it, but when I say results oriented, I mean take more action in your life. If you want to be action oriented, if you want to do more in the world, if you want to take on more responsibility, have a higher level of an ability to respond to situations rather than react to situations, you're going to need to clear up all that negative energy, and if you want to say it like that, and not feel guilty and shameful for wanting something. Wanting something and feeling guilty for wanting something is only going to siphon up your energy and make you feel more stuck and stagnated, right? If you don't want to feel stuck and stagnated, own your desire. Own it fully. Let that part of you want something. Don't be disrespectful, but at least be bold enough to ask for what you want in your life, or at least put it on paper and be willing to have it clear. Make it very clear. Honor yourself, and then from there, now you're in a position to actually honor people. Ironically, when you fully go through this process, now you can really see, can I provide benefit for somebody? Is what I want aligned with what they want? Can we support each other? Because when two people can become truly selfish, they can help each other be more selfish. And I know that sounds bad to say it like that, but that's selflessness in a way, because you can really give somebody value when you can be your own individual, be a leader, be your own person. It's hard to help somebody when you can't even think for yourself, when you can't even provide for yourself, when you can't even be an independent thinker. How are you going to lead somebody to success and lead somebody to peace and happiness if you can't even put yourself into a state of peace and happiness and be your own leader? Be your own cheerleader, You don't need to see somebody else cheerlead for you. Be your own cheerleader. If you can't even be your own cheerleader, then how are you going to cheerlead for somebody else? It's just not going to work, And so this is why we need to drop the shame, be more honest about what we want, be more upfront about what we want, and then from there, now we're in a position to have the space to truly have powerful connections, in our life. To really feel like we're resonating with the individuals that we're connecting with. And like I said, I want to be clear, it doesn't matter what kind of connection we're talking about here. Just to conclude this video, it doesn't matter, again, I want to repeat it. It doesn't matter if it's a business connection or if it's a business deal, if it's a really good friend, you want something from a friend, you want them to be a type of way, in some type of interaction with them. It doesn't matter if it's a relationship, a romantic connection. It doesn't matter what it is. It does not matter, because at the end of the day, everything in life is relationships. We're in relationship with life. We're not alone. Nothing happens alone. You're literally in an interconnected ecosystem of interconnected parts that work together to create and connect to the one bigger whole, right? And if you want to honor this dance of life where we are connected to everything, where everything is connected and nothing is separate from each other, then what you want to do is start to come from this space of respect and honor. Honor yourself first and foremost, because you deserve it. You deserve to be taken care of, to provide for yourself. You deserve to be nourished. You deserve to be connected to your heart, to feel safe, to feel like you can want what you want, to give yourself permission to own your desires, right? And then now you can provide value to others from that space of owning your peace, owning your values, owning what you care about. You can help others to get what they want and own that fully. Because if we're all feeling guilty and shameful for other people, we're all just going to be people pleasers and nobody is going to be happy. Somebody has to be the first person to say, you know what? I'm going to give myself permission to just be happy today. I choose happiness. I choose peace, And if somebody wants to choose peace with me and we can align with this together, then so be it. If not, then I choose peace anyways. And that's the key right there. That's the key, because now the external world is not needed to create your state. You see that you don't need to see the external world in a particular way so that your state can be in a particular way. Your state is no longer dependent on the external world. You realize that you can generate your state from within yourself. You're not looking for reality to have a certain level of, to be a certain way, to feel a certain type of way in your body. You're choosing to feel a certain type of way first, use your voice to ask for what you want, and then run your life by being your own leader, leading yourself to success. And then you, of course, have others to see, can they support you? You say, hey, here's what I need from you. Can you help me to create this vision? If they can be there for you, then that's great. If not, then that's okay too, because you understand that it's okay for that to be the case. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that in the bigger picture. Wouldn't you want everybody to have what they want? Truly? Don't you want everybody to be happy? Don't you want to be happy? And first and foremost, do you want to be happy? Because if you don't want to be happy, it's going to be tough to want happiness for somebody else. If you're living life and you're miserable and you're upset and you're quote unquote depressed and you're attached to the past and you're overly thinking about the future and you're stuck in this stagnated state, it's going to be tough to want the best for somebody because you don't even want the best for yourself. How are you going to want the best for another person if you don't even want the best for yourself? If you don't even want to be happy, you can't desire happiness for another individual. So let's start with you first. Start with yourself. Do you want to be happy? Get that out of the way. Or do you want to live life miserable and feel like you have to control the external world to be happy? Do you want to feel calm and peaceful and that you control your state from within? If you want to be happy and control your state from within and be peaceful and calm and live your life with integrity and have values and live your life with discipline and excellence and commitment and devotion and have a vision towards the goals that you actually want to see happen in your life and align your actions with that vision. If you want this for yourself, then go for it and take action towards that and be the best person that you can be. But if you don't want this, remember, how are you going to build a connection where you can both want that for each other and help yourselves level up? How are you going to, build powerful connections and actually level up with another person if you don't even want to level up? How can you help somebody level up if you don't want to level up yourself? So start with yourself. Start being a little bit more selfish sometimes. I invite and encourage you not to dishonor anybody else whatsoever, but just remember that you honoring yourself is how you start to respect other people and how you start to come from a space of actually honoring other people, because you see that they want to think for themselves too, and you can come together and support each other. And if not, that's fine. But the key is wanting it for yourself first and seeing where does that fit in with other people's worlds. Where does your world fit in with other people's worlds? How do they align with each other? It's not about overpowering another person's world or dominating another person's world. It's about you, or you're the only person in reality and the entire universe just revolves around you. No, it's not about that. It's that you have a world, other people have a world. How do we co-create to create a better reality together for each other, where it's not just about you, it's not just about them, it's about both of you coming together to create a better world and to become the people that you actually want